if you would like to start, I mean, let's go around the table and talk about some lessons we're learning from this trial.
Let's start with Ian and Shadi since they're the hosts of this lovely show.
Ian, the floor is yours.
Thing that my mom and dad would always tell me that I fucking hated as a kid and as a young adult is whatever you do in your past is going to come out in your future. And the lie is only good until the truth shows up. I hated that shit when my dad would say it. And the moral of that is no matter what you do, live your life as at some point somebody's going to see the shit in the movie theater and move accordingly. We have to be very clear. Even when people say they're shocked at the actions, I'm like, if you've been around hip hop for 7 weeks, you heard these stories. So there shouldn't be any shock. I think people have to move accordingly, move with respect, and don't think if you do bullshit for a long period of time that you're going to be able to get away with it. That's my prevailing thought.
I agree.
Andy?
Shadi, I want to hear yours.
I think that to reset the room, I think that the trial was a railroad sham to begin with, but I also think that he had a lot of bad karma and he abused women, and that's something that, you know, no matter what you do in due time comes back to you. So sometimes in life you pay the price for something that you didn't even do, right? But it's something that you did karmically that's going to come back to you. So I think that he's lost a lot of money. He's lost his fame. He's lost he didn't lose his fame, but he's lost a lot of things, right? So you know, only God can judge somebody. I hope that he's learned from this lesson. I hope that he's learned from this lesson. I think that he'll probably get around 2.5 years in jail. He's already done, when this is all said and done, probably a year. And in the federal system, it's like 60% of your time. So he'll probably be home by next summer. And we'll see what happens. It's interesting that they got him for the Mann Act because that was a racially charged charge. We're in the United States of America. This race is a real thing. We can't run away from that. The Mann Act started with Jack Johnson in 1920 because he had a white girlfriend, and they said that he was bringing her across state lines, and they called it white sex slaves or something like that, right? So they literally started the Mann Act because of a black powerful man was with a white woman, and that historically has been unproportionately put on black people, black men specifically. So when I say black men, Mandii, I'm not just making scapegoats. This is real institutional things that have been put in place for decades, for centuries in the United States of America for the destruction of black people, but specifically for black men. This is a real conversation. I'm not using it as a scapegoat, but it's something that we have to be honest about if we're being honest. But you know, we'll see what the future holds. But I just think that it's a learning experience from, no matter how you look at it, he's lost a lot. And when you have something that you built the empire, because he did build the empire and he did become an icon globally, right? It's never going to be the same. We talking about, he could do a show, a pod. We talking about Diddy though. So you're talking about somebody that was a billionaire from hip hop. You're talking about somebody that had global brands. You're talking about somebody, and I do think that he was trying to clean his karma, because you said that he did bad business. He didn't do bad business with us. I'm just speaking from personal experience. But I think that was the later part of his years. Sometimes you kind of know when your end is near. Yeah. And I think that he was trying to do a lot of good to rechange maybe the negative that he's done in the past. But sometimes it's not enough runway. But you know, I do think that we have to start having more honest conversations as a community. And I do think that, you know, hopefully the next generation of billionaires and entrepreneurs learn from the mistakes of this generation. And to be honest, this generation didn't really have anybody to learn from. They was kind of winging it on their own. But now there's set precedents of what to do, what not to do. If you do this, you could get this much time in jail. You can be so, you know, it's interesting, but that's my take on it. But I never condone any level of abuse against women. But I do feel that once you start to travel down dark pathways, sometimes there's no way out, which is why you should stay out of dark pathways.
Mandii, what are the lessons from you or any commentary you want to give? Floor is yours.
I think we are still, all of us are victims of the patriarchy. And so what I really feel is happening is that there's been an increased level of education for what is violating, for what is assault, for what is, you know, an attack on your autonomy. And I think women, for the first time, have been able to speak out about it. It's been able to be criminalized. You can look back. They used to say you couldn't say no to having sex with your husband, that your husband couldn't rape you. I just realized I experienced an assault. It's because I learned what the word was in 2018, stealthing. A man can't remove a condom without your knowledge. Like, there's just knowledge and things that are happening right now that we didn't have. And so what I'm realizing, unfortunately, is that there's kind of also this tug of war of really changing and making people learn and making people show up as better people. There are ways in which men have been showing up that have been violating the autonomy of us. And we as women are now, unfortunately, realizing the trauma that we have experienced because we haven't had voices. There haven't been laws that protect us. They're rolling back the way laws protect us now. We can't even have abortions if we want to in certain states, whether we've been assaulted or not. And so, unfortunately, I genuinely feel like cases like this and reading the comments online, we're at a tug of war for the freedom that y'all have had sexually to the way in which we are able to show up as human beings in a sexual position with men, with other women. And so it's frustrating for me because there's been a lot of work happening to teach people about consent, about PrEP, about ways to protect yourselves. And I just feel like a lot of people are choosing not to because the 90s was funner. It's more fun to just get what you want as a man. And so that's what I'm seeing now. And it's unfortunate. And it's not a black or white thing. It's a man and woman thing. It's a partnership thing. It's a way we intertwine with each other sexually. And so that's just what I'm seeing. And I just hate it. And I know even seeing in the comments, you can lean it into feminism. You can lean it into this crazy layer of sexual liberation. But no, there's just ways in which we are learning. And so we're able to speak out about it. And I just don't think a lot of men like that we're able to speak out on the treatment that we've experienced for centuries. If we as Black people can be free from slavery, I just don't understand why there's like this tug of war with allowing women to exist with that same freedom.
Well
Kenny?
said. Well said. I'll go to the Puff thing because I think that's what we started talking about. I hope he can become the man.
Well, lessons from all of this.
Yeah. I and this is, part of that. I hope he can become the man that was warranted the favor he has received. And I truly hope that the love from his family showing up every week during this process fills whatever void he's been missing, right? Because the evil nature of his business dealings and all the horror stories we've experienced and heard, obviously still in shock from what we saw in this trial, whether it was warranted or not. We still saw things that brought things to the forefront and to the light that we had no idea about. And I just think that we need to know that Puff has way more money than most of us, right? All of us.
Yes.
And you're not going to be able to fight the battles he can fight. To Shadi's point early in the conversation, I think it's very important to have guardrails, guidelines for your life, and that sexual, with your sexuality and what you want to experiment with sexually. That's how you show up in your communities and who you align with. That's your choices in mentors or people that you respect. And I think that is a whole nother lesson in itself. You got to make sure they earn your respect and not just through dancing and fucking singing or playing basketball, or you got to get to know these people before you put all your weight. I never forget having a conversation with Shadi about Kanye before he completely jumped off the bridge. And I was like, yo, B, just be careful aligning, because you never know how these people are going to end up. And it was a real thing. And, even like I told you, Ian, when I first met you, I was like, yo, y'all taking some pictures with some real, I don't know, term, you know what I'm saying? But y'all be careful who y'all
you
taking
sure did.
No, but I'm just saying these are important things because the internet can't be scrubbed or erased. unless you Jay-Z or Beyonce. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta really deal with the choices you make and be, thoughtful with your decision making.